The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Roll to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Hello guys, welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show. I am Beef Stew and I am alone once more. My boy Chris is bowling in Hammond, Indiana at the PBA 50 stop. He has got off to a good start again this week. Looks like he's in the lead after game one, 256. So that is at least a positive, I guess. Nico, hey there. What's going on? Thanks for being part of the show as always. Nice to see you, boss. Mr. Hendershot, Marion, Eli, how we doing? How's everything feeling? Quick shout out on Thursday. We have Mike Fagan coming on. He's going to chat about his purchase of the bowling center in New Mexico and the New Mexico Open and all good stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that. Mike, one of Physics Blackout, how much stronger is it compared to the Infinite Physics? Quite a bit, actually. Yeah, Physics Blackout is quite a bit earlier than the Infinite Physics. The Infinite Physics, definitely much cleaner. Couple of balls in the arsenal, maybe. I mean, you could probably use them together, but Physics Blackout definitely going to be the stronger of the two for sure. Earlier, a little more rounded also. Kind of all the stuff you would expect. Sorry, let me just turn the fan on. But yeah. Okay. Good morning. How we doing? DWK. So Bowl Expo is coming up next week. What are people excited for? You're looking for any new balls in particular? What do you want to see? It could be any company. Yeah. Any thoughts on some wild and wacky balls that might come out that you might be interested in? Hey, Joe. So life update for me. It is my birthday on Saturday. So not much going on bowling wise this weekend, but next weekend, the weekend after that, I am off to bowl the LBC, the PBA LBC, whatever we'll call it, the League Bowler, the Bolero Open Championships as such. What's going on, Johnny? So if you are going to bowl that, I will be there on Saturday. I'm bowling the 9 a.m. squad on Saturday. So if you want to cross, if you want to enter with me, please feel free to do that. I've bowled fairly steady, if not spectacular. So the odds are I've got a good one in me coming up. So fingers crossed for that. Yeah, that's what's on the agenda. And then the week after that, I am bowling another regional in Lubbock. So we're really ramping up through the summer for tournaments. Got the Lucy after that. So hey, what's going on? Any recommendations for my 6-ball arsenal? Current bag is OG, Reality, Summit Ascent, Identity, Lightning Blackout, Pitch Black, and Spare Ball. Quite like it. Depending on how much you use the Lightning Blackout, I might go to something a little bit higher RG than that. So I might replace that with, say, Typhoon, maybe. But depending on how much you use it and how much you like it. And then for the original Reality, if that's starting to get a little bit losing a bit of its bite, I would consider the Ion Max right now or Hyperdrive. Hyperdrive is probably a little closer. I kind of like the continuation out of the Ion Max though. Super smooth. Hey boss, nice to see you. Guten Tag. I heard the Venom Shock is being discontinued, so I'm interested to see what Motive wants to fill in that benchmark split if they do announce it. That would be interesting if that happens. Not sure. I haven't heard that, but I'm not obviously not got boots on the ground, so to speak, listening to the Motive info. No, not really. I think we're gonna go out for a meal. So nothing too exciting. Once you get old, you don't really have exciting birthday celebrations. Watch Chris shoot 300 on Saturday. Yeah, Barnzy got his Origin back out. Shot 300 in Plano, I guess you're referring to. So, hey, how's it going, Cliff? Nice to see you. But yeah, I would be fascinated to see Bowl Expo wise something just wild out of the box, you know, something just totally new. I'm in the perfect world, all the companies would come out with a brand new cover that nobody'd ever heard of that's made of, I don't know, something other than enriched uranium. But yeah, it's Bowl Expo is a fun place to go. I really like going to Bowl Expo. It's nice seeing people, nice hearing what people think, pro shop wise. It's cool to get feedback over which balls have been super popular in their shops, because like pro shops influence sales quite a lot, and you know what works in one shop doesn't necessarily work in another, and what's popular for one guy isn't necessarily popular for a different guy. And it's very interesting to see, you know, some shops might be selling a bunch of Equinoxes, but another shop might be selling a bunch of Ion Maxes, and of course it depends what the lane guy does and all the rest of it. So going to Bowl Expo and hearing, you know, from pro shop operators and people in the industry is quite interesting, I find. David says, thanks for the advice on the Don Johnson pattern. Qualified 5th and finished 9th for my second check. Keeping the ball in front of you was the answer. Well, I'm glad it worked out. Congratulations. Yeah, nice work. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it. And happy birthday to you too. You're a couple ahead of me on both numbers. I'm going to be 44. So I glad that you enjoy the show. Thank you very much. Thanks for always being part of it. And thanks for the birthday gift. I don't know, five, maybe 5 or 6. Well, that's good. Yeah, like I say, for me, I haven't really found many people who've disliked the Equinox. Most people that I've spoken to about that ball have liked the motion and been able to strike a bunch with it, especially lower rev players. I think it's pretty continuous for them. Would you consider the Road Warrior and the High Road 40 different enough to be in the same bag? This goes back a little bit to which balls you use a lot. Like for me, probably not, because I don't use the balls in that gap that often. So I feel like if you use a ball a lot, like for me, for example, I use like Equinox quite a bit. So I can have Equinox and Attention Star in my arsenal because I'm using that part of my bag a lot. But for other people, like they might see Equinox and Attention Star as being like kind of way too close together. Like if you're using, I don't know, like super strong balls all the time. So if you're using like Ion Max and Hyperdrive all the time, you're probably not going to need Equinox and Attention Star. You know, you're probably not going to need both of those. But again, for me, I'm not going to use probably Ion Max and hyperdrive that often. So in a 6-ball arsenal, I'd never carry both of those. So it really depends on whether you use the balls in that range. I think that the shapes are fairly different for me. I think High Road 40 is stronger, and I think it's a little more off the spot than the Road Warrior. But you would have to be using those balls a lot to carry both, in my opinion, with them both being kind of higher RG and symmetrical. So the short answer is for most people, probably not. But like I say, depends on if that's the part of your arsenal you use a lot. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I rambled a lot there. But yeah, like for me, I actually quite like everybody coming over the house and like just cooking on the grill and stuff. It's like way less stressful with like Brady and like finding stuff for everybody to like that they want to eat. But we're going out, so that's what we're doing. Clifton, thank you. Yeah, 1 year close to PBA 50. Yeah, I'm not really counting that countdown very much. Not that worried about it. I'll be semi surprised if there's even really a viable 50 tour by the time I get there. So we'll see. Are you going to do the New Mexico Open? Inside Bowling had a good video about it. I'm not that good, but I think it would be a fun one. My goal would not be to finish last. I don't know because I haven't exactly looked through the format and the dates and everything. As of right now, no, but Fagan might convince me. The problem in the past that I've had with the New Mexico Open is it's quite a long way to go for a tournament that has a really shitty finals format, like from my point of view. Like the 32-man bracket just doesn't do it for me. If it's close, then it's fun. But qualifying kind of high up on a really hard pattern and then bowling a 2-game total match or whatever, or best of 3 or whatever it is, like that doesn't really do it for me. That's too many people in the finals to like, you get the one guy who carries like, when the lanes are hard, you carry 2 or 3 Brooklyns and then you're out and you've bowled way better than a bunch of the field. Like, yeah, I'm not about that life. So depends. Depends. It depends. Like I just get frustrated with those formats. Yeah, Frankie's done pretty well in that format for sure. Like I say, I don't know. Every couple of years I go, like I almost am more frustrated by the lanes being as hard as they are and then doing that format because I feel like in a long format when the lanes are that hard, it really lends itself to the best bowler. I feel like when the lanes are that hard and then you go to that 2-game matches, it just lends itself to it being a bit of a carnival. For me, like I say, I understand why they do it. Bunch of guys feel like anybody can win, and that's that's great, but I'm not going to sit in the car for 12 hours to do that. Would like to see new SST6 boas at Expo. Well, yeah, I mean, check out the 3G, the 3G version of that. I've been wearing them. I quite like those. I think they've been fairly comfortable for me. Yeah, like I say, I've enjoyed those quite a bit. Even if the locking mechanism on the left one has been a little challenging for me, I'm starting to get used to it now. Yeah. It's just it's a little rough. Like I say, if the lanes were a little easier, I don't think look would be quite as difficult to worry about. Yeah, I think that's from a little bit ago. I don't think they're there right now. Maybe they are. I don't know. They went like probably a month ago, I think. Yeah. YouTube apparently has an algorithm coming where they're going to just auto translate all the videos, so that could be interesting. Um, yeah, I liked having a chat with Bill's dad. Bill's dad was always a good time. Yeah, I enjoyed him a lot. Yeah, no worries, Ron. No. It's like I say, I was just curious as if it was the same thing. It's not like I've got tracking devices on those guys to know where they are. Um, it's just that like I was pretty sure that the tournaments were a couple of weeks, like a month ago. Cyber Bowl pretty well in those, I think. They have a bunch of like exhibition matches at those as well. So yeah, it's yeah, interesting. So, is there anybody bowling tournaments this summer? And if so, what are you looking forward to? Do you need any extra pieces in your arsenal? Like, what gaps are you trying to fill? It's always fun stuff. Travis says some new RG stuff, hybrids. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm not actually sure how many new balls we're going to see because we've just had the two storm balls come out. So I have a feeling that they probably won't have many storm balls because, like I say, we've just had Ion Pro Solid come out on Friday, as long with that High Road 40. So I can't imagine there being a lot of storm stuff coming out. But of course, Rotogrip and Rotogrip and 900 Global have probably got a couple due, I would guess, based on what we've done in the last sort of 5 years. Well, what options do you have in terms of urethane? What are you trying to choose between? Looking forward to some new shoes from Dexter or more 3G options with boa style system. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have more shoes. I think we're going to have the ones that we have because like they've only just come out. They were basically coming for this. It's a bit like Dexter. I doubt they're going to have anything that you haven't seen the pros wearing all season. So those like 10s, I guess they were. They call the Dexter 10, SST 10. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that they're going to be the shoes you're going to see at Expo. I think that having loads of new innovations and stuff is going to be a little bit difficult because it takes quite a while to get stuff here because a lot of it's built in Asia. And then, of course, with the tariff debacle over the summer, over the spring, rather, I think they got kind of a little scared to pull the trigger on sending too much stuff until they kind of knew what the tariff was going to be. It's kind of hard when you think one day it's going to be 10% and then the next day it's 145%. Like, kind of hard to know what to do. I think the problem with this is I don't like the branding really because AI isn't for artificial intelligence. And I feel like a lot of people feel like AI tech, like they attach the two. I haven't personally noticed much difference in terms of my scores improving. It doesn't really factor in that much in me choosing my Arsenal because we don't really have that many balls to choose from that don't have it. Outside of low end balls, I think the High Road 40 was the only ball we've released in probably the last 18 months that didn't have I think it's applied inertia, the AI shell outer, whatever we're going to call it. So, yeah, no, I haven't really noticed a huge difference, to be honest. Yeah, sometimes. Every now and again they have like a weight block that's kind of dedicated to the Korean or Japanese markets. Like the original Code series balls were I think they were Japan only for a little while. And then they had huge success with them, so they ended up turning them into balls over here. In general, a lot of the stuff overseas is like just different colors or different combinations of the covers we already have. So some of it is kind of fun. Yeah, some of it's kind of fun. Sometimes. Amplified inertia. There you go. Well, Ron, I can almost guarantee they're going to have an SST10. Like I've seen the guys wearing them all year. So EJ hasn't even been wearing his own shoe most of the time, I don't think. So yeah, I'm fairly certain they're going to release SSTX or whatever we're calling it. But whatever, I'm not throwing them. I'm throwing them. I'm not wearing them. So don't really care. Don't know if they're any good. I imagine they are. Most of the companies make pretty good shoes now, I think. Like I say, these new 3G races, are they called the Dial? Let's have a look. I am not doing my best job here of oh god, stone bowling. I'm not doing the best job here of promoting our stuff when I don't know the name of everything. So, man, the website's slow today. Yeah, the 3G Dial races. That's what they're called. 3G Dial. I've enjoyed them. Like I say, for me, the only slight thing that I've struggled with is because your thumb's so much stronger than your fingers, it's really easy on the right one to roll your thumb forward to tighten it. But the problem is on the left foot, the dial goes the same direction. So that means that you have to turn it backwards. And that's a little harder to get tight. So that's the only slight downer. Everything else, they're super comfy. The tongue is really padded. Yeah, I've enjoyed them. But the other races with the laces were fairly comfortable straight out of the box as well. The only difference I would say is that it feels like the tongue is a little more padded in these new ones. The size and everything feels pretty similar. Dial Racer. Hey, how we doing? Just got Ion Max, Physics Blackout, and Ion Solid. What 3 balls should I look at to round out my 6-ball arsenal? 385. Well, if we're just doing reactive balls, I mean, I would always have a spare ball. But if we're doing reactive balls, I really like the idea for you, especially if you're saying you've got forward roll, of putting an Equinox in there. I like a High Road 40, and then really depends on your style and where you and which ball you're using the most. You could add something like I feel like you got 2 strong ones, so you're okay. Ion Solid and Equinox kind of so you could go with something like a urethane ball, like a Pitch Black or a Typhoon, if you felt like that High Road 40 was, hooking a little bit too much. Otherwise, you could add something symmetrical further up the bag, like Ion. Oh my god, I can't even speak. Zen 25. Zen 25 would be another option to fit in there. Yeah. But yeah, I think that Ion Max, Physics Blackout, Ion Solid is a fairly good starting point, but they're fairly smooth. I mean, iron solid does whip a little bit, but they're fairly smooth balls. So consider adding some more sort of like angular balls to that. But definitely consider the spare ball. Eli, I can't lie. If I was looking for a urethane to take, I'd probably take a purple hammer if I had the choice of all of them. It just seems like that's the one that's like in play more often. Yeah, but the Vibo wasn't released in the last 18 months. At least I don't think it was. That's what I'm saying. Phase 2 doesn't have it either, but that wasn't one that was released recently. That's all I was talking about, Nico. Like I was talking about the balls that have been released recently, haven't had that. So it's kind of like I don't really end up. I mean, like for me, DNA coil is a ball that I use a lot that doesn't have it. Yeah. DWK bowling on Viper for 3 weeks. Didn't use urethane. Used Hyperdrive, Origin, and XL. Did better with XL. Should I have started with harsh rail as solid? And what other suggestions? Should I start? Well, you could have started. I mean, it depends where it went wrong. I mean, harsh reality solid would probably been a little smoother than the hyperdrive and the Origin. Could you, as you said, you had success with the XL? Could you have started with the XL? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's up for debate. Like, there isn't really enough info there for me to be able to definitively tell you what you should or shouldn't have done. I have the gold Balmo 3Gs, but was thinking about biting the bullet in the 3G dial races. Yeah, I mean, I like them. But going from those gold shoes, they're going to be a little boring, the black ones. Bowling on Statue of Liberty this weekend. I don't really know what that pattern is. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Statue of Liberty oil pattern. Oh, 47 feet, 3-1. Okay. So what were you saying? Was thinking of starting second arrow with surfaced IQ to create a bump and then jumping in. Yeah, I mean, sounds plausible. I wouldn't necessarily hit it with surface until you bowled, unless you bowled in that place before. Because you might find that the surface makes it hard to keep the ball like kind of online. If there's a lot of in the track, you might want the shiny ball to create the hold. Tina used it last week. She did really good with it. Any reason why Ion Pro Tour? I don't know what the Ion Pro Tour is. Is that the first one? It says my usual layout was used, and I had another ball, and it hits the thumb. Okay. Sometimes like that ball is a little lower flaring. That could be causing it a little bit. Yeah. I don't 100% know. Do you track fairly close to the thumb normally, and then this one's just a little bit further over, or do you track nowhere near it? Hey, Billy, here's a good question. If you could only have one ball but drilled as many as you wanted, all different ways, what ball would it be? I mean, it would have to be an asymmetrical ball. Uh, I mean, probably right now it would be an Equinox. Um, yeah, but I mean, in history, it would probably be something more like maybe an absolute power where you could like put a bunch of surface on it and it like dig in, but then you could shine it and then it would be a little better. But yeah, right now probably an Equinox. What do I do with my old equipment? I like give it to youth programs, throw it away. Yeah, I've got a bunch of balls in the garage taking up space, so lots of different things. I mostly bowl on house shots. What's a good ball and layout on a house shot? I mean, really depends on how you bowl and where you bowl. For me, I kind of like for me, asymmetrical balls with like 5.5, like weaker 5.5 inch pins, 4.5 inch mass biases, nothing crazy, like 3 inch buffer, something like an Equinox drill like that, or yeah, absolute power was pretty good for me. Yeah, just kind of smoother asymmetrical balls usually work pretty well for me on house shots. Hey Mike, great show as always. Senior lefty, 14 miles an hour, maybe 320. Just got the XL, IQAI, Tour Dynamics. What else is maybe needed? I think there's a pretty big gap between your XL and the IQAI. I would consider something like the Ion Pro Solid to fill that gap. I think that might be a nice addition. I kind of like the Ion Pro Solid a little more than the Ion Pro because I think it's a little bit more continuous. If you feel like it's a little bit whippy, you can just add a little bit of surface. Probably drill it a little stronger. But yeah, I think that would be a good one. No, I didn't. Glad they figured it out though. Didn't really see anything. Um, was it fun? Did they do something good or bad? And was that Chris or Ryan? Hey, do you change pin buffers on your balls? If so, do you use it only on specific types of balls? No, yeah, I do change pin buffers quite a lot. I actually change pin buffer, I think, more than I change the pin distances. I kind of keep the pins like 5.5, 5 3/4, 5 3/8, kind of weak. And I kind of change the pin buffer kind of to affect the flare and to affect how responsive it is. So yeah, that's kind of how I've used it previously. And I use it on all sorts of balls. Like I change the buffer on all sorts of balls. Like I've done it on hustles, I've done it on, realities, like and everything in between. Yeah, when he says -2, it means it's the pin is past his valve, 2 inches past his valve. It's kind of like a two-hander. Like Ryan's about the 20th guy to get to that layout. Like everybody uses that layout. Like, um, so that's not particularly unique. A lot of the two-handers use that for the urethane balls for whatever reason. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I didn't know anything about it. So, cool. Um, glad they figured that out. Um, I'll check it out. That's pretty amazing. Like an assault pearl, that ball is. It's been a minute since that ball was new. I'm actually quite surprised it hasn't cracked, to be honest. Balls that old tend to be a little bit of a problem. staying together. So, well, glad you found some old but gold. Yeah, yeah. He don't throw it soft either. Mitch gets that bitch down there. God damn, he throws it hard. Yeah. So, sorry, just got distracted. Hey guys, been tracking over my middle finger as a one-hander. Any recommendations to fix it so I don't without changing my release? Is the pin below the fingers on that ball? Because you kind of need the bow tie to be a little higher, probably, depending on how it's tracking. So, like, if you go a little higher with the pin, it should help to get it away, maybe. But generally, like, getting your hand in a better spot is usually the key. Yeah, Paul. It was the only ball that survived. I had that and a storm trauma. Rest of the 9 balls were cracked. That sucks. Yeah. I've got Fagan coming on Thursday with me. So that should be an interesting chat. Chat about quite a few different things. Free fall versus strings. What it's like owning a bowling center. What he's been up to. The New Mexico Open. Like, yeah, chat a little bit about quite a few things. So thanks for asking. But yeah. Where's I had the scores up after 1. Let's see if they've updated. Ooh, this website is slow. 3 games. Chris Barnes, 731. He's in 3rd. Dan Knowlton. Wow. Come out hot with 245, 233, 296 for 774. Nice start to the week. The Argyle Assassin, yeah. Yeah, then Kenny, I'm not sure, mate. Yeah. Sorry. They were my best suggestions without, digging deep in it and trying to get your hand in a better spot. Yeah, I've tried that. It worked better on the pitch black that flared a little bit less. On the IQ78, for me, it ends up it stands up a little harder, but then it gets really, really forward quicker. And I don't really need something to get forward quicker with urethane. So it hasn't really worked out that great for me. But yeah. So, all right. Well, like I say, with it just being me and there being nothing specific, I just wanted to check in with everybody, make sure everybody's doing okay. Like I say, we'll be back with a better show on Thursday. Mike Fagan will join us. 6-time PBA titleist, I think. Yeah, it'll be good to have a chat with him, see what's been going on. But without further ado, if you get chance, please support the sponsors that support us: Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, Turbo, Coolwick, Bowlsmart, Firelight Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and of course our friends Platinum Ford. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a good day. Take it easy. See you later. Bye now.